Hello there YouTube, this is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with another Arcanium run. We are still continuing the beta Thoram, like, exploration, over-explained, all that stuff. Of course, the last run kind of got kaput. Again, apologies for being audibly upset about everything that was going on. But we're here. Josh said that he had fixed the bug that we found, which is good. You know, it's why we do everything that we do. And now we're going to start up with talking about Thoram's rare and epics. Now, the reason that I like to put rares and epics together is, technically speaking, they're both appearing around the same time. Like, again, you might get a blue a little bit early, which will give you sort of like a power spike. But for the most part, your blues and your epics are what are going to actually like determine what your deck is doing. And so they're very good at finding out like what exactly can you do with a character. So Shove is a 1 for 7. Oh, I guess before we go into this, let's go over some stuff that I sort of scuffed on last time. So we were talking about RAM, and I was saying that the common rate is 1 for 4. That's not true. For commons, it's supposed to be 1 for 6, especially for range damage. So this is doing normal damage, and it dashes, which is significant because if you look at stuff like, say, Lady's Lunge, again, starter cards are supposed to do 1-4, and it does 1-3 dash. You look at Lazar, it's 2 for 7, which is 1 less than the standard rate, and then it has dash. There's a couple of other examples in the game, but for the most part, they're sort of setting the precedent that dash costs 1 point of damage. And so technically, this is a 1-7 for that purpose, but being able to dash for 6, again, it's dealing good damage. Dash has good mechanical benefits. A pretty good card. Same thing with Hammer Toss here. So this is supposed to deal 5 per range, so it's 1 under, and it also gets to taunt and retain. So that's honestly great value. We also found out later, you guys probably laughed at me, which is perfectly fine because I was talking about this card and it said that this could only affect the caster the entire time to apply 2 burn whenever you hit an enemy. Now, obviously, he doesn't really have good access to stuff like AoE, it looks like. It looks like he doesn't really have good access to, like, multi-strikes. Red Pool technically has Slice and Dice in there, which is both. Oh, no, not Slice and Dice, that's Ladies. It would be Vanna Knives, I believe. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Vanna Knives. Okay, yeah, it is both. It's multi-strike and in an area. So, like, this would probably be, like, the best outlook for it. Otherwise, looking at multi-strike, he doesn't have access. Arcane Barrage, maybe. Then, area? Cleave? He'd be able to utilize that for some AoE burn. Whirlwind, be able to apply some vulnerable as well. He doesn't really have a lot of good outs, like good outs for that, but it's still relatively decent. I was kind of looking at it at like, okay, yeah, is this like setting him above everything else? And it doesn't. But when you consider the fact that this is applying on any hit, and then you've got stuff like his starter that does, you know, 2 for 3 and 3 burn, it starts to add up. The thing is that this is going to want more. It's going to want more AP out of him, and he already wants some AP. But then, of course, if all you're doing is dealing hits, then you're not doing anything with minions. So it's very specific on when you would want this. I would say that this is probably his least reliable common, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Alright, so going back to here, shove is a deal 7 damage displace. I haven't actually looked a lot at blue cards, but I would assume that they're all going up by like a rate of 2 because legendaries try to go for a rate of like 1 for 10. So, assuming that that's the case, this is 1 less than normal rate, but it gets displace, which is a unique effect that currently is only on Thoram, I believe. And what it does is it moves them to a random adjacent lane. Note, however, okay, it's only +3. Note that if there is a shard boss or a boss in the middle lane, right, you can't displace because they cannot be moved. So at that point, this just becomes a 1 for 7, and it's okay. Honestly, this is... like, I suppose it's decent. I'm sure that you could find a way where this would be, like, very good, but... I don't know, I'll have to play around with that one a bit. I'm honestly not too impressed on that one. Weapon crafting, shuffle 2 master weapons. It's 9 pierce. Actually, that's incredible. Because of the fact that it's 9 pierce, it basically means that it's just 9 damage. And if your character, for whatever reason, wants to use red cards, then it's better. But you don't have to worry about enemies being resistant to this, and just checking this is also on allies. And it upgrades to 12, which is okay. So, we were just talking about how, technically speaking, the rate is 1 for 8. And so what we're doing here is we're enabling another card, which again, going off of the armor crafting, some characters want to play cards, like Milady, so this draws through itself. It's a red card, she gains damage, and it deals 9 damage. And you get to shuffle 2 of these, and they seem to be going about the base rate. Unless, of course, for whatever reason, this is actually higher than usual because of the fact that Displace is regularly dealing damage or something like that. Again, I'll have to look into what exactly the air quotes going rate for blues is. Generally speaking, I just, at that point, you're in the mid game and you take whatever's going to enable you an engine. But when and if I actually start doing like more in-depth character analyses, or even if I'm absolutely crazy, I know that Jorbs did an in-depth analysis of every card in Slay the Spire, or at least started it. I don't know if I'm that insane. I guess we'll have to figure that out eventually. There's so much in this game, though, to try and, like, just dedicate a whole video to shove, but I would suppose that I'd be able to at least fill a half hour, 20 minutes to half an hour on it. It'd be mostly saying a lot of the same stuff, though, I would think. I would have to figure out how I would want to do that. Anyways, enhance, retains, gives a minion 4/6. The easiest way for me to take a look at this is to compare it directly to... okay, so first off, it retains, it enhances a minion. This is Ragnarok, basically, and it gives a minion 4/6. Ragnaroks... come on, I know you exist. Did I skip it? Like Warcry or something. Warcry. It costs 1 and it's 3/3. So, already looking at that, I'm not really... give a minion 3/3. So, you do consolidate it into 1 card, right? Because otherwise, you would need 2 Warcries in order to get 6/6 here. And Thorim getting 4/6. So already that's looking a little bit weird. It might have to do with his kit though, because it's a higher priority and it's technically less bang for your buck. I don't know. Maybe I should submit that. Maybe as we look at these minions, though, it'll make more sense. What does this upgrade to? Plus 2, 3, 50%? Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, I'll submit that for review. Otherwise, another thing to note is that you can't really compare characters to characters because of the fact that they're independent, but I've been doing it because it's good to show exactly like what you got. Obviously, you can only pick towards the counterfactuals that you're actually given. If they give you Enhance and they don't give you Warcry, it really doesn't matter. That Enhance is technically, on paper, worse than Warcry. Dancing Embers, 2 cost melee, retain, consume up to 5 burn on the enemy, give +3 to the minion in your lane per burn consumed. Okay, now we're getting interesting. What does this upgrade to? Up to 8. Okay. So, Thorim typically has tankier minions. Up until now, we haven't really been able to get to the point where minions are going to be like that spectacular. But it might possibly be that you can play a minion, say Forge Spirit, give it up to 15 damage. So this is basically, easiest way to compare this would be Aurora's Ignite. Or actually, it would be more so Immolation. Both of them have Retain. Both of them are 2 cost. Hers, of course, is ranged. But his wants to make sure that there's a minion in your lane. And this consumes up to 4 to deal 4 damage per burn consumed. Obviously, this is dealing direct damage, so it can crit, it goes into vulnerable. Minions also go into vulnerable, so that's kind of different. This is dealing up to 16 damage. It's also a blue, so that's also another good comparison. Thorim's is going to add 15 damage to a minion, and unlike her, again, if the minion somehow lives, then they're going to deal another 15 damage the next turn. Otherwise, they pretty much require the same sort of setup. In fact, if you can get Dancing Embers with Molten Construct, it almost pays for itself. 12 is actually a good survivable amount. It's 4 cost, so you just hold Dancing Embers into your hand until you get Molten Construct. Maybe it's Molten Construct Plus for the 6 burn, and then all of a sudden, you've got a Molten Construct that's dealing like 17 damage forward. Pretty good. Obviously, with minions, you have the troubles of, okay, is it getting ulted? Is it just taking too much damage and it's going to die right there? Is AoE happening because it's hard to keep them alive through AoE? If you have Aegis Potion, assuming that that's still bugged, this obviously goes up in value. If you have Immune, assuming that's still bugged, this goes up in value because you're able to keep your minions alive for longer. If you have access to slow, that would help. Obviously, if you're on a minion squad and Ragnarok is planting a minion on top of your minion, they're already big and buff, then you can get away with doing this. In which case, Ragnarok is basically like building the minions, and you're just buffing them. Get a look at his other 2 blues. 2 blues? Yes. Smelt. Retain. Destroy a minion. Gain a shield equal to 3 times its health. Interesting. That's actually not bad at all. 3 times its health. Most of the time that's going to be overkill unless for whatever reason your minion has... Well, let's see. This costs 2. So this needs to block for like 8. So the minion has to have 3 health. He has generally larger health minions. I could see this being good, but the other thing that this does is, assuming that one of the things that I see a lot, especially with Ragnarok and cards like Innerve, such like that, they look at a minion dying and they're immediately like, well, I've just lost my advantage on the board. Again, unless you have like Ragnarok's hook to pull him into the lane, or Thorim's displaced to like push somebody else into the lane. Once your minion has done its job and won the lane, pretty much all it does is block AoE. And there might not even be AoE in the fight. So if you've already won the right lane, you're being ulted, you can pull that minion out and then turn it into a block for 2, and it could be a considerable amount. The other thing is that if your minions aren't technically like correctly blocking, because you know they just die and they get pierced through, then Smelt is going to allow you to turn them into block. So then they're still kind of blocking in future turns. You put them in a safe lane this turn, and then the next turn, you know, like maybe an ulti is coming up, and then you just go ahead, you pop that up, and then you jump into the lane, and then you're able to tank it that way. This is pretty finagly, as, well, minions usually are finagly, to be honest. Unless you're Ragnarok, in which case you get just straight up brain off. But I think that this is a very good card. Especially if you have, sometimes you end up with the items that are just like, oh yeah, summon a 2/2 or something like that, or the 2/6 weak minion. All of a sudden, you use that, use this, you're blocking for 18. That's pretty damn good. Like, that is Harden Plus activated. Like, it's pretty damn good. Fire Breath, apply 2 burn in an area, double the amount if a minion is in your lane. Okay. Like, honestly, okay. I would say this is probably, looking back at Aurora again, a blue AoE burn. Not just your... Okay, actually, she gets this as a common, which also makes sense because she's actually the primary burn character. You'd want this to be part of her starting kit. And it's also 3 burn in an area. But if Thoram happens to have a minion, it doubles and becomes 4. Otherwise, that's honestly what is this upgrade? It only upgrades to 4. Thoram upgrades to 6. That's actually quite significant. But I suppose we'll see. Oh, why would it upgrade to 6? Well, it technically does, because it's 3. And then, of course, if you have... No, I don't think that Advestment or whatever the cloak is that gives +1 to all status ailments, I don't think that would actually count here. But if you have Syndra's Devourer, according to my discussion with developer Remy, if you have, not Syndra's Devourer, the tome that doubles all debuffs you place. What would happen is you're going to double this. Oh, let's just go with this. You would double this to 4, and then you would double that to 8. Now, obviously, I haven't been able to test that, but if that's the case, 8 burn in an area for 2? That's quite significant, even if the enemy just goes ahead and, like, purges everything. Going back, let's look for these purples. Got Rending Strike. Destroy all shields, deal 10 damage, and apply 1 vulnerable. Destroy shields is always good. Shinzo has access to it. It's incredibly powerful. His, of course, is 1 for 6 destroy shields. There's also a... Looking at the common pool, there is a... Or the neutral pool, there is a common, which is Pulverize. Know that you exist. Can't hide from me forever. There we go. Retain, destroy all shields, deal 4 damage for 1. Which is, of course, of rate, pretty much. So if we're looking at that, 1 for 4, destroy shields, also retains. This is no retain, but destroy all shields, deal 10, which is 2 less for the rate, and then applies vulnerable as well. And then, of course, this upgrades 80%, which is honestly quite ridiculous. I can see this being very good, because this is of rate, pretty much. And then you also get the vulnerable. And of course, if you have a minion, the minion's going to attack into the vulnerable, but he doesn't really have very strong minions unless you somehow also got Dancing Embers off. I think that this is pretty decent. There's better options, but you may not have access to those options. Again, you may not have Shinzo on team, you may not have, I believe, Leon has access to Shield Shed, and Pulverize, you might not have a yellow hero. So this might be your only Shield Shed, and that's pretty important for a couple of fights, namely Razar. Construct crafting, shuffle 2 Master Construct cards. Wait, what? That is insane. So for 3, plant 2 delayed, pretty much molten constructs, except of course they have a different effect. The effect, of course, being that they draw past themselves. And then, of course, they expend so that they don't keep bogging down your deck. But there's also ways to get around this. This is really interesting. That's crazy. Because you can get the heirloom to shuffle an extra one into someone's draw pile. You can do this to yourself. You can put on Steel Belt to, of course, apply some block. This is... That's really good, in my opinion. I mean, obviously they're not going to have retain, but neither does his one that actually gives shields. But there's literally... Over 3 cost, let's just take a look at a minion that Rag has for 3 cost. Victorian Gargant is a 5/9. Also applies toughness to the hero behind, so obviously that's helpful in its own way. The other minion that Thorim shuffles in has 3 more health, 1 less attack. And then upgrades to have like 50% more health. Actually, it's 5 more health, isn't it? It was a 14. So for the same cost, you're getting... Okay, no, it was 12. But it does go up to 18. Holy shit. For the same cost, you're getting 2 minions. That's free for them. Oh, man. It's also technically delayed shield, so if you have problems with that, you're going to have problems with this, but... Seriously, just having minions on the board is not a bad plan. Especially with how many artifacts scale with minions. Not a lot, but... Okay, assisted strike, deal 6 damage, and extra damage equal to the health of the minion in your lane. So this is actually quite similar to Ragnarok's... I believe it's attack command, which is a common. Attack command is 6 damage, force minion in your lane to attack, so it's scaling off of attack, which Rag is better with. Also, they buffed a nerve. That's actually crazy. I don't understand that at all. But this is 2 for 6, and then, of course, whatever damage your minion is doing. Now, obviously, Thorim's minions, as you have seen, is not very impressive for attack. So instead, it's going to use its health to deal damage, which is obviously, like, pretty good. The only thing to note here is that Obviously, this is not going to proc shock twice. This isn't going to cause the minion to take retaliatory damage, get poisoned, anything like that. If anything ever were to trigger off of a minion attacking, that wouldn't occur. But otherwise, this is literally attack command, but it scales off of minion health. And especially when you start considering stuff like Ragnarok being able to stack minions to the moon due to his promote, then this becomes very good because you can very easily have a minion with like 30 health, in which case this is a 2 for 36. That's insane. Upgraded, it gets +4, which is more than usual, but not necessarily like the key kicker here. The main deal is that you're being able to actually get something out of your minion health. Good with construct crafting, actually. I didn't realize that this was going to take so long, so I apologize for everybody who's slaving through this. Battlehorn, taunt in an area. Gain shield equal to all your minions' health combined. If you're able to keep minions alive, this is pretty good. Otherwise, taunting in an area is kind of spooky, especially with damage having been increased in Apex recently. But I'm sure that you'd be able to use this, or if you have already just a tanky minion. Because, of course, shield equal to all your minions' health combined. Let's say that you have a 12 health minion out there because you have the construct crafting, right? So there's a 12 health minion in front of you. That's all you got. You taunt everything. It has 12 health. You have 12 shields. It's kind of good. I could definitely see it being very good, but this is very niche. Probably like we've been talking about, like all of these do require a little bit of setup. Obviously, like Rending Strike and Construct Crafting, I think are just plain good, but obviously Assisted Strike and Battlehorn require your minions to actually stay alive, or you have like a double minion setup. Like you are Ragnarok, you are Carrion, something like that. And then Molten Flux. Apply 3 burn in an area per minion on the board. So this is basically, we already looked back at Aurora's Flame Pillar, which was a 3 burn in an area, and that was worth 2. This costs 1 extra, and just like his other AoE burn that we were talking about, what was it? Was it Fire Breath? Yes, Fire Breath. Just like that one, it can multiply itself. And again, same thing here. If you have Syndra's, I keep wanting to call it Syndra's Devour. If that's the case, then I keep wigging out on it. So you can have up to 3 minions on the board, in which case this is 9, and then you would double that for 18 burn. That's pretty good, but it requires you to have 3 minions on the board. So, just keep that in mind. Otherwise, even with 1 minion, it's 6 AoE burn, which is better than her 2-cost Flame Pillar. It's good. I'd say that this is definitely more usable than, not necessarily Flame Breath. Flame Breath is definitely more usable than this because it cost, this one costs 3. But, what do you upgrade to? Oh, it goes down in price. Okay, that's actually quite important to know. So obviously Molten Flux Plus is more usable than Fire Breath, but otherwise this is much more easy to scale. Especially because it's in an area, so you can even be safe off to the side and just throw Molten Flux out and hit the middle lane. Anyways, I think that's all of that. I should be prepared next time that I try to do that, because that's half an hour of me just explaining a whole bunch of rares and commons that probably should have been split up. Thank you for everybody who stood after and is still here. So, we still want to play as Thorim, and especially now that Call of the Mountain is fixed, definitely want to try that out. So this is what we're going to do. I don't do this often. We are going to random, but this top slot, I'm going to put Thorim there, assuming that he is not randomized. Well, that's a shame. That would have been great with Carrion. This is actually a very interesting lineup. Unleash Hell. Lazar able to provide block. Milady being able to provide some block for herself. She's got the multi-strike. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. The only problem is that Lazar has an AoE ult, and so does Thoram. Could be a bit scuffed, but otherwise we're probably pretty good. And I'm actually with Lady and Lazar. We're going to try and take a back route on Thorim here, and instead of going to Uzir, because that's where he's going to pop off the best, we're instead going to go to Anador. Or maybe we just go Scorched Lands and say, screw it. If we go Scorched Lands, it would be for the sole purpose of being able to give Thorim an upgraded ability. In fact, I kind of like that. We're going to do that. Oh. That's right. Well, we were kind of talking about... This is actually quite unfortunate. Arcane Barrage is insane damage. I would really like to take that. Fire Breath, though. Apply 3 burn in an area, double the amount if a minion is in your lane. Get them up to 4 AP. This could possibly pop off every 3 turns. Very good. Being able to do 6 in an AoE is just insane. Ignore Pain is bread and butter Lazar. It's very hard for me to not take that. Like I said, Arcane Barrage is just like ridiculous damage. Especially Arcane Barrage Plus. Like 2 for 12 is already good. But we're going to go for the route of science. I personally feel like Arcane Barrage is the best pick here, and skipping Ignore Pain is painful. I have ignored Ignore Pain. I could see you taking either of these two and saying that that's the best pick there. 2 upgrade abilities is great. Let's reroll that. Reroll that, of course. Don't know what I expected. That's perfectly fine, though. We have access to our capital this time, so we don't have to fight for our life. This loot cache is going to provide us actually a ton of utility, theoretically speaking, if we get the right thing. Then, of course, I'm looking at these hazards because they don't increase the clock. Just, okay, Call on the Mountain says that it's 9. I'm willing to believe you. Let's get rid of Hearing Blow for Fire Breath. Let's take this. Look at that, it's a Ram loot cache. I wonder if Tome of Infinity is still broken. Spineback would also be pretty damn good. Spineback would have been excellent if we had taken Arcane Barrage, because it would have been very easy for us to get that. And basically just puts a 3/3 promote out. Of course, this is purple damage in a purple area, but we plan on fixing that real quick. Otherwise, Tome of Infinity, if it's broken, that's pretty damn good. I think we take Spine Blade. Yeah, because it's interesting. I don't think that's going to go off, but there we go. Of course, we got a purple potion in a purple area. That's pretty supper. I'm going to go ahead and go here. And I'm basically trying to beeline it for Anador, because we're pretty well set to take on enemies there. We may not go in there like, you know, straight away, but we still want the ability... suffer? We still want the ability to go there when we need to. Doing this. Okay. That. Then you're pretty much dead. You just have to accidentally deal 2 damage. Like that. little face racing. Get you over there. Swap in. Why weren't you dead? Lazar can take this damage. Oh, the effect. We were fine. We didn't have to do anything. We could have won this fight already. Really me? Flame spray I'm not feeling. We already have better flame spray, I feel. Although technically this is actually the weapon crafting. I'm feeling the weapon crafting. Could also feel hamstring due to the fact that it's very cheap. Good way to put damage out there. We don't have pounce on Lady, but we do have vulnerable on Lazar's ultimate. So I don't really feel like that's necessarily like what we're looking for, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking weapon craft. We're just gonna keep pumping up Thorim, apparently. I like that better than a steering blow. Okay. Let's just keep going for these hazards. Okay, I'll take free health. Again, might. That's actually quite good for us. Well, theoretically speaking, this man could make it not so good for us. Because of that right there. Okay, you only got one. That's good. Been crafting. You know what? Self damage. I'm just gonna try and face race this man because it's gonna ulti next turn and it's not gonna be fun. That's good. Double the amount if there's a minion in your lane. Oof. Still 3 burn in an area is good. We're fine with you being weakened. Now this is 10 pierce damage. It says it's going to deal 10 damage to you. Are we able to bring you down to death? Maybe? Excuse? No, that would deal 5 because it's 6 base. Not necessary. I'm pretty sure we're going to kill this man. Really, it would not be enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to do... Oh. Actually... do that. This. Flame breath. Kill. Lady being weakened is pretty suffer. Oh, don't worry, we rolled 3 might. Okay, never mind. This for heals. And you're dead. Okay. Sever is looking pretty good, honestly. Especially since we're trying to deal like a lot of upfront damage. We have access to weapon crafting, which is piercing damage, but the raw damage on top of vulnerable would bring us up to like 13 for free. And this helps keep vulnerable going. It allows us to push bosses a little bit easier. Cleave is obviously very good, especially due to the fact that it becomes ranged. Lady could really push this card. Then of course 8 piercing damage, it's a raw damage. Not really much else to say. But retain 8 piercing damage feels a little bit worse when you already have a 2 dash for 7. Obviously, again, this ignores purple resistance and its range, so I don't have to move into the lane. It's retained, so I have it when I need it. It goes through shields. It's not exactly the same thing. It's just that this card pick isn't really going to give us a lot of momentum, as much as, say, Sever or Cleave will. We're going to go ahead and go with Sever. And we're just going to put that into the deck. Now this card pile here, I would really like to get Lady's Blade Fury up to Ulti Plus, so that we get those extra 2 hits. So we're going to give her this card pile. Parry's great, On Guard is great, Vault Strike is great. If only we had pounds, this would be like the perfect draft, but we're still looking pretty good. I'm not too concerned. I'm going to equip all of this. Thank you. I really hate that notification. I really do. Oh man. We'll take this Breach Elite because we want that capital back. That card pile would give us Ulti Plus on Lazar, which is incredibly good. We're going to need to face race you like immediately because as a elite, you are not going to be a good time. We're going to go ahead and do that. Really wish you had, we need you to get up to 4 AP so that you can actually, like, get away with this. Go ahead and protect you, just deal some damage. I think the best move here is actually to move you over. That lady can come up. Actually, you might as well deal the damage while you're here. In fact, might as well deal the damage. Just move over and block. We're not worried about Lazar taking a little bit of damage because he's just an HP battery. Just Lazar things. So this is very concerning. Okay. Honestly, maybe we shouldn't have gone here. We should have waited till we got a little bit more oomph to us, but what it is, we'll go ahead, we'll take that block for you because I'm not going to be able to block for much. And you can just block yourself with a minion and keep popping this man, I guess. Keep that for next turn. We're going to need it to heal because we are about to get thwacked. Oof. Okay, this is actually quite concerning. We'll be fine though. I legitimately think so. We're going to do that. Go here. We're going to pop, but this is fine. Everybody's vulnerable for days. Oh, actually, this is going to work out well. As long as your name isn't Lady. That there. Don't have a lot of cards in his deck. Actually, putting that here would have been good, because then both of those would have been right at the top deck. We would have gotten 2 of them. While vulnerable. Pierce. Anyways, since I done fucked that up, go ahead, use this, which mostly blocks you. Do this. 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 Then this. You're going to be rooted, but you're perfectly safe. Oh my good lord, what happened? What the frick happened? Give this to the lady so that she can deal some good damage. You're gonna get bopped no matter what, so just throw that out there. You've befallen a terrible fate, haven't you? Guess we'll do this. Block. Head over there. That you can use this. Wow, that really worked out. Holy cannoli. And so then we just gotta win this turn, but we have this. So I'm not really too concerned. This. Holy. First melee card you play each turn deals critical damage. This is pretty good for us right now. We've got some huge chunkers. And just Lazar having a 1 for 6. We got Sever. We have access to weapon crafting. We can get a lot of mileage out of Broadsword. And I think 1 purple whenever enemies hit us is whatever. Otherwise, Leaf's Pouch is also like incredibly good. Is absolutely phenomenal. We are thinking about going into Anador though. Use this. We'll take the Broadsword though. I like the idea of getting an extra dash into Lady's deck. Just, does she really have... Well, we can get rid of a Fléché Strike. Yeah, we can do this. Otherwise, again, vulnerable, it's relatively good. Stonewall is the defense card that we probably should be taking because we've ignored pain. And Lazar needs just a little bit more to get by due to the fact that his ulti gives him Heverage. This theoretically won't really give us that much though, because in order for this to be worth it, I have to have... Well, I guess you only have to have 1 card in your draw pile for this to be worth it. It's not actually that bad. Would I give this to Thorim though? Because I don't think that I give it to you. You have access to Void Vessels. They're already like very good. But are they enough? I don't know, I'm holding out for a better block card, I think. The other thing is, too, is that Lady really needs to get access to a 2-cost. Oh, she has On Guard. Never mind. Could also potentially draw 2, which is very interesting. I guess we will grab Stonewall, simply because Thorim really only blocks with minions. Give it to him. Fine with you being at 10. I don't want to put Searing Blows in there, though. This one to Thorim. Armor crafting times 2? Molten Construct? This is really interesting. Oh man, I hope we get that heirloom. We'll take both of both of these, and then this can replace one of your Forged Spirits because it's just, well, it's straight up better. Suppose I could put an extra, like, minion in his deck. But he really needs 4 AP before we do that, which would be any fight here. We're starting to go into normal enemies. Where am I feeling most comfortable? This is 3 unlocks, so I'm feeling very good here. Of course, if you had 4 AP, that would have been a pretty good hit right there. But we don't, so 3 burn in an area. Is that worth it? What we honestly do is weapon craft. You're gonna get the resolves. Start popping towards you. Oofda. Get rid of you because you're gonna ulti next turn. Master weapon. It's about all we have. All she left me were my damn bones. This just seems good. Some damage, sure. And how I'm feeling about this is... the resistance really scuffs this. Affect her as well. And we're not going to avoid this damage, so it's not worth the Fang Strike. I think Fang Strike would have killed us. Yep. Well, now we got all these resolves. That is such an interesting turn. Oh, we're more than good. Yeah, that's really interesting that Thorim's able to make like engines like this. Not necessarily go like infinite, but have like good power turns. So yeah, he really is kind of like Angorn mixed with Ragnarok in the fact that he just gives other people great days and sort of puts minions out. Also gets a little bit of burn in there. Very interesting combination. And as I said before, right, like being able to use Call the Mountain on turn 3 is potentially very good, depending on the enemy lineup. Guy ain't gonna live. He's dead. Counterattack is pretty damn big. Parry is pretty damn big. Especially when we put, oh, we didn't take dash. Counterattack is huge damage. And it's blue damage. Take that. We're actually looking very good. We need Thorim to have an extra AP so that he can actually like have good turns. Go ahead, go into the backpack. What was I in here looking for? Oh dear lord. Oh, making sure that you're not overburdened here. Take out Fléché Strike. A couple of cards. Let's go ahead and see what this event is. Because Lazar's is a support, we get a loot cache. But a free campsite. Free campsite is a free heal. We're already a little bit low on cash, so if we were to heal everybody for 20 at the inn, it would put us up to 31. On the loot cache. The common. I feel cheated. I dispelled all enemies. Spellweaver's gloves? Okay. The hell was that? Oh man, that changes everything. Can we abuse that? Like, technically we could use it with, Master Weapons to get more, as long as it's the first card that we play every turn. Otherwise, like, who are we putting that on then? Are we putting it on Lazar? Do we really want, like, multiple Void Vessels and Fang Strikes in our deck? Like, they're very good, but they're not going to be very good near the end of the game. And so we've got, what, multiple dives, multiple severs. Multiple severs wouldn't necessarily be too bad, but honestly, I'm not sure I'm feeling Spellweavers in this deck, which is kind of weird, considering how powerful it is. Multiple parries would be pretty hilarious. Multiple lunges. That's abusable. I just don't think that we got the deck for Spellweaver's gloves. So Woolen Boots. I don't think that we give this to Lazar, because we haven't gone into Anador and made it so that he doesn't care about Hemo popping yet. But we can give this to Lady, and then she can get her ulti to pop off, like, a lot. And if her ulti's popping off a lot, mwah, chef's kiss. So basically, she can use her ultimate turn 2, because the odds of her not having... I mean, I guess the odds of her not having a dash are actually quite large, because all she has is a couple of lunges. But it's also whenever you change lanes. So even if Thorim or Lazar changes her lane, she's still going to get that one Fury, and that's going to allow her to roll over into 7, get her ultimate. I'm actually feeling... we'll go a little bit long on this one, since I over-explained the shit out of Thorim's blues and purples. I am feeling a little bit concerned about shards. Only a little bit though, because oh wait, let's heal while we're here. There we go. After this next fight, we should be able to heal again. I'm hoping that we don't have to, but this shard here, I want to hit it before threat 9. At the very least, I want to hit it on threat 9. Looking at this card pile here, this could go towards Lazar. Maybe solve it, get us a little bit of an engine. I'm feeling actually pretty good now that Thorim has some AP. Other things to note is that if we take this and this, which is our plan, then we can scope out all of this, which is getting us close to these shard battles, which I believe are going to be not necessarily much easier because there's a lot of DOTs over here. But I'm feeling much better about these. If we get up to here, again, like, this is all a bunch of, like, free XP, pretty much. And our damage is just ridiculous up here, too. Like, Lady's blue ultimate is, like, the worst thing, because there's the bear and, Spider Gargant up here. But in here, it's just, like, the blackguards is about it. Anyways, we can go ahead and start here. Lots of events. Good stuff. Blackguards again. The goblin looters in a corner. Good about this. This looks good to me. Okay. Look at that. That's what we want to see. 6 burn forward. That's going to be a lot of damage over time. Ah, Chef's Kiss. Might as well also hit this while we're here. Hold up, how much damage did that actually do? Dealt 20, so it crit before it put down vulnerable. That's unfortunate. Let's help Lady out here. I'm gonna go waste that, but then we can get a little bit of free block, which will help that out. Molten Construct. Damn, son. I'm really feeling this. That'll block most of that, put more burn on you. Bop this man. Can't block that with minions, unfortunately. We want to try and preserve as much as possible due to the fact that we kind of have to, not use another... Hold up. Hold up. Okay. Actually, this'll kill. You're only dealing 4 damage though. We'll keep you alive for now. It's the best move. How did you take Hex? Oh, I put the potion on you. Oh my good lord. That'll mostly block. We're looking good. Okay. You are pretty much dead. Go ahead, drop that off on you. A little awkward. A little awkward. A little awkward. There we go. Perf. The weapon crafting. And go ahead. We'll use 4 AP to move. Boosh. Boop. Vault's pretty good. Crimson Potion's very good. Crimson Potion is mostly good due to the fact that we are able to give it to Lady. and then she'll use her ×5 multi-strike and deal a crap ton of damage, and then there's of course some shield in there. It's also a reserve like 6 shield, which is kind of nice. Otherwise, Valiant Strike is probably our best pick here, simply because with Lady Ward on top of her... What am I trying to say here? Ward on top of her natural shield generation with blue cards is 50% more shield. And we're kind of going into a blue Lady right now, so this is really good. And just taking this 1 might due to the fact that we sometimes hit a lot of times, it's like, the best thing to note about this though is, despite the fact that I say that the 1 might is not necessarily worth taking this, it's still a good card due to the fact that it is a 2 for 6, which is the going rate. So for 2 for 6, it retains, and then you also get 1 might. And the best place to put might is when you just, you know, using your AP to buff someone else's damage, like Shock. So putting this onto Lady, or even Thorim even, would be the best bet here. But if we somehow had to put it on, say, Lazar, like before his ultimate, then that would be fine too. But I'm thinking about making Lady actually able to tank some hits, and so we're going to go for Valiant Strike. What do you combo for? Just a little bit more damage? Good. Didn't want to upgrade you anyways. And of course, with that, we will want to... Get rid of that. Since you have the combo card now. Did I put that on there? I did. I'm not quite sure we want ulti cost -1. Let's just get rid of another Flèche strike. Roche's Iron Claw is a little annoying, but we should be fine. Now I think we want the big damage dealer over here. This is fine. This is awkward. I'm gonna cleanse anyways. Guess help protect Thorim. Hold up. A little interesting something. Save that for next turn. Yeah, unfortunate you're gonna have to take 6, but it'll be fine. Zar probably could have tanked that, actually. That is a dead enemy. That is a really dead enemy. That is a super dead enemy. Is there a better way to kill you? Not really. Jeez. Oh, that'll kill you. Okay. Never mind then. Okay. Kind of debating enchant weapon, but I believe elemental fury. Elemental fury on Lazar. Their ultimate is 9 cost. We crit on the first card of our turn, so if we have elemental fury up and we're keeping our ulti available for whatever reason, generally speaking, we would want to use our ultimates before this actually. So do we really want to do that? Maybe it's still the best move. Actually, hold up. Your ultimate is... Hold up. Your ultimate is melee. So that means that when we have your ultimate, we're dealing 12 in an area. And then applying vulnerable. And we're going to have 0 fury. Maybe just getting access to the combo here. There's also another dash on Lady, so I think that is actually a pretty good move. And if Lady ever gets to be the least health enemy ally, then she could possibly draw into resolves. You could really go through her whole deck. Huh. Okay. Try sprint. Of course, we don't want all this. We're just getting rid of more and more Flechet strikes. But now we have a 1/3 chance of getting a lunge, which is good because that activates on guard. We have the boots that every time that we dash, we gain. Go ahead, we'll pick this up too. Oof, we're going to be doing quite a lot actually. 6 health for 2 essence. I am actually willing to take that. We were going to spend the money anyways. What do you got? Another common. Fuck you. And last, claw shoulders. Yo. Okay. So Lazar is practically unkillable now. Got a second pulse grenade. I think that's actually quite good because we'll be able to see if we have that bug where it just removes both of our items. Arcana Shrine is very good. I actually want to take this and play that out. But one thing's for certain, we need to heal. I'm also perfectly fine doing this because I don't plan on being here very long. We're going to be in Anador, so we're going to start out with 200 for our capital again. Very fine by me. Yeah, I want that Arcana Shrine. Hatch Surrogate, not a big problem. This is exactly the same fight, just different positioning. So I'm actually feeling this. Oof. Let's go. That's exciting. Stuff to crit with. Probably could have shielded you, actually. We essentially don't take damage anymore. Or another thing that we could do, can Lady tank this? Not when we spend all of her AP, she can't. Okay. We're going to take a little bit of chip damage here. Could use a source of sustain. I know that we passed Tome of Infinity, I believe it is. The one that when your deck is empty. Oh, this is no damage. Shame we didn't have this. If we were to play this, then this. 19. Not quite. Okay, if you're not going to do much of anything, let's get you over here. That's kind of funny. That's in that lane. Hold up. Why did you play twice? Is it per effect? I mean, you can really only have 2 effects on a card. There's no card that your combos apply twice. Oof, that would be a great artifact, actually. Combos applying twice. I'm not going to complain. That's pretty damn good. We'll just do this. Activated ward. I guess we're just going to kill this man. Because they are dead. Wait, why are you... Oh, we comboed. No, that's correct. But no, you did it twice still. Did you? What's up? He still... Oh my god, this... Wait, this is a common? I've been digging around with this the whole time. Like, I knew it was good for a common, but this is really good if it's applying twice. It shouldn't, though. It would also be nice to have something here, right? Some sort of art. And also, this looks very weird. Anyway, going back to the actual game here. Over here. Yes, we can. We're done. You have 2 cards. You're going to draw 1. What are these cards? One's Fang Strike, one's Void Vessel. Oh my god, we're walking the precipice of death here. Not really. We don't really care. But, have a little fun with it. Crap. Go ahead and get shielded, I guess. Don't care. A little bit. ×3 armor crafting. Interesting. There's a lot of things going on with echo cards. I almost want to take Vanquish just to make sure that it's actually properly echoing. It's also a relatively decent card. It would definitely give Thorim something to do. We replace a Hammer Strike. It would cost 1 extra action, but it wouldn't be too bad. Otherwise, ×3 armor crafting is just silly, and I like it. We would be... Oh my god, Lady would be so fucking tanky. Oh my god, we don't have a shield crash, though. We'll take Vanquish for science. Thorim. And who needs AP now? Might actually be Lazar. It might be Lazar, because if he draws 2 dashes, he can't really do anything. He also has access to Sever, which is a higher cost card. And then we can start looking at giving people, like, draw, because you can really get away with it. Or, this is a big or. We're next to 2 shard battles. And I believe... we're actually not next to 2 shard battles. So it would have to be 8, 9. We're really only next to 1. But I was about to say, if we healed and then took these 2, it would give us about the same, and then we'd get 2. Heirlooms. Still do that. Is there a card that we want to upgrade, possibly? Guild Ball, maybe. We honestly have never really used it. We could also upgrade this. Can we upgrade items? No, only artifacts. Is there an artifact we could upgrade? Not really. These are all very good. We could upgrade a card. Then go up there. Upgrade 2 random cards. We got a bunch of good cards. This is tough. I honestly, though, think that the AP on you is very good because it's going to help your sustain option. And we'll take this Arcana Shrine. Your Arcana cards produce extra damage, shielding, and healing. That... Ultimates for Fund 1 Fury. Maybe? That got nerfed? That used to be 2. Not sure about Refund 1 Fury. Feels kind of stinky, honestly. I'm honestly almost feeling Arcana power here. Thoram's blue. His stuff that we're throwing into people's decks is blue. If these somehow get upgraded, that'd provide an extra 2 shield. Otherwise, it's 6 for 1. So it's basically, just consider it Lazar's Void Vessel, just delayed. And it counts as a blue card. Vanquish. Get a little bit out of that. Hammer Strike would get a little bit out of that. Actually, we were going to get rid of one of these in order to fit that. Question does come. Do we go big deck? If we go big deck, then we get access to the ability to ulti on turn 2. And if we ulti on turn 2... Oh, another blue card that is of note is obviously parry on guard. On guard's good. Counterattack would be insane. Valiant Strike doesn't really matter. Her ultimate, Blade Flurry. It would gain 2 damage, I believe. That's quite a lot of damage. Yeah. I think because it's our defensive option, we do actually take Arcana power here. Again, Refund 1 Fury. If this was normal efficiency for 2, that would be 100%. I would take that because then Thorim would go up to 4, and then it would still take him 2 turns to get his ulti back. But or if we ulti plussed him, then it would bring him up to 4, and then he would be able to get his ulti like every turn, which is quite significant actually. That's interesting. You could still do it with efficiency, you just need more stuff. Anyways, heroes drawing their full hands at the start of battle doesn't really interest me due to the fact that I already feel like I'm going to be going into draw. Although this would make our turn 1s very consistent. I think that just making our defensive package very consistent is a little bit better for us. Anyways, that is an hour and a half with half an hour of bonus Thorim over explanation. If you guys enjoyed it, I'd like to know. Be sure to leave any feedback that you have down in the comments below. Be it questions, concerns, comments, misplay alerts. And until next time, I will catch you guys around.